Welcome to Hockey Nights in Vegas. This is the 125th episode.
Fucking ding ding.
Pretty fucking cool, right?
Let's go.
I'm Eddie Rivkin. That is the next general manager of Hockey Canada, Sarina Taylor.
We switched it up a little bit.
Yeah, I gave you a new title. I'm not going to choke on the premier word anymore.
Premier.
Right.
Okay.
The next general manager of Hockey Canada, Sarina Taylor, ladies and gentlemen. This episode, like all the others, is brought to you by my very good friend, Dr. John Pierce at Ageless Forever. We are at OUTBOX Media in the medical district in Las Vegas. If you know where that is, fine. Probably easier to just to send them an email. Our good friend Mateus, contact at outboxmedia.com. If you want your podcast to look as good as this fucking podcast looks, besides me, hit them up. Great deals, the best studio. Don't pay all that extra money for some bullshit guy who's not going to take care of you. Reach out to our friend Mateus.
Mateus is pretty good.
Want to hear a joke?
Since I have a feeling I'm going to get roasted on this, okay, go ahead.
No joke today. Want to play a game?
Oh, no. Okay. So for the record, yesterday Eddie and I were texting, and he's like, I've got the best idea for a game.
This is fucking out. Mateus, prepare to. You won't even need the laugh track for this. Want to play a game?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
The name of the game is F, Marry, Kill.
Oh, my God.
Do you know what it is?
Yes, and I know exactly the three.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, F, Marry, Kill, it started on terrestrial radio, so they couldn't say fuck, marry, kill. The gist of the game is I'm going to give Sarina 3 people, and she has to fuck one, marry one, and kill one. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for radio gold. This game has 2 rounds.
Okay. Oh, so you got a whole whack.
Yeah, two rounds.
Oh, my God. For the record, if I don't actually want to kill anyone.
That really isn't the one I care about, to be honest with you.
I know, but the last thing I want is somebody to be like, dude, I'm going to get in trouble for saying.
Yeah, but it's theater of the mind.
I know.
Okay.
Well, you and I know that, but.
Okay. Fuck, marry, kill.
Okay.
Chris from Chicago, also known as the Zamboni driver.
Yeah. By the way, guys, we figured out it's Chicago Chris is the
Chicago
Zamboni
Chris.
driver. I'm getting closer.
Okay. Sushi waiter and skateboarder.
Oh, my God.
Wow, that was the longest pause
No,
in the
because I had
history
to
of
think
podcasts.
about the fuck, marry, kill. Marry Chicago Chris. Fuck the sushi boy. Kill the skater boy. I don't know.
Okay, so the skater boy's dead.
I guess.
So we're down to
God.
Chris the Zamboni driver from Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago Chris the Zamboni driver and sushi waiter.
Yeah.
So now round 2 is
Those 2.
Chicago Chris the Zamboni driver, sushi waiter, Braden Bowman. NHL budding star for the Vegas Golden Knights, number 42.
Kill him. Don't want to kill him. I guess Mary Bonesy.
Oh my God! I can't wait to give this clip to Garrett.
No, we're not. We're not sharing this with the team. Absolutely not.
I might be chubby.
Absolutely not. We are not sharing this with the team. We would get into so much trouble this year. Wait, Mateus, we put the headdresses from the fucking showgirls on yesterday, and we have the pictures. Eddie and I both did. Mary Bonesy. I guess.
Come on, bang the Zamboni.
Bang the
Zamboni.
Kill the sushi waiter.
Okay. And just for the record, I'll give you the opportunity next episode if you'd like to fire back. I wouldn't recommend using 3 females in the organization because that'll get us railroaded right out of the press box.
For the record, like these people are not in the organization, I guess, except Chicago Chris would be, obviously.
Yeah, peripherally. He doesn't work for the team though.
I think he does.
Okay.
Anyway,
congratulations, Bonesy, on your on your pending nuptials, which leads me right into the next. I know
exactly, because I was about to throw you under the bus.
It leads me right into the next topic.
This is screwed up, by the way, because I think you're serious about this.
So, when the Golden Knights won the cup 3 seasons ago, Oh, it's going to be so hard to do this with a straight face. And if you're listening to the podcast, Sarina is as red as her red Canada sweatpants right now.
It's ridiculous.
There were 6 or 7 or 8 players who were expecting children during the Stanley Cup, the end of the Western Conference Finals and the Stanley Cup. It's like baby making season. Well, this year, 2 Vegas Golden Knights have already announced joyous additions.
We got Shea Theodore, and who was the other one?
I think Mark Stone is expecting twins.
Oh, well, there was another one, wasn't there? Somebody just announced the other day. I thought it was.
Was it Riley Smith?
I can't remember, but anyway, maybe it is just those 2.
So, because you are an honorable woman and don't believe in premarital sex, because you're a good woman, daughter of Saskatchewan. Now that you've married Braden Bowman, we get into baby making?
This conversation actually happened, you guys, at the hockey game the other night. And Eddie was like, wait a second. You know the last time. And he's like, how about you take one for the team?
Yes.
And I was like, absolutely not. He's like, not even for the Stanley Cup. I'm like, no.
Stanley Cup.
A baby for the rest of my life. Like I'm not taking that one for the team. I will do a lot of things to help out. I am not taking that one for the team. And I can't believe we were seriously having this conversation in the press box. And I turned to Hannah and somebody else and I was saying, they were like, that's not the worst idea I've ever heard. Like,
see, I'm getting support.
Yeah, no.
Because the rest of the people involved in the conversation weren't really around for the Cup year. So but they were like, so how are we going to explain this to your new husband?
Oh, I'm pretty sure he's fine with not knowing, not participating. Like he wants a kid.
Sarina.
Edward.
You don't think that if I walked up to Braden Bowman at practice, and I'm not saying I didn't walk up to Braden Bowman at practice a couple hours ago and leak this idea to him?
No, you did not. I know you didn't.
Oh, you don't know exactly what I did.
I do know you wouldn't do that.
He was the only one. He was like the last one left in the locker room. And I started off the conversation with young Mr. Bowman, congratulating for his success on TikTok.
Oh, did you tell him?
I did. I absolutely did. Told him he led the pack.
Yeah,
with
he
over
did.
15,000 views. But then I said, hey, I got to run something by you.
No, you didn't. But did you tell him about the views?
I got to have a little chat with you about something important because I know you're new here and I know winning the Cup is really important to you. So I got away. You can help.
Yeah. I know you didn't say it. I know you're full of shit.
Okay.
I just know it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Next time you go to practice, it's either going to be really funny.
It's always really funny at practice anyway.
I feel a lot better. I was in a fucked up, shitty mood before I got here.
Today's been a weird day.
Oh, honey, I'll tell you what I did before here, and it'll be plenty. So anyway, we both seem to have some grievances to air, and
I always have.
Your grievance had to do with the officiating, and mine had to do with the Department of Player Safety. So I had a chance to talk to Tomas Hertl today.
Okay.
After practice, and I said to him, what was your take on the hit? And he said, what did you think? I said, I think when you started to check him, he was perpendicular to you, and he turned into the boards, and there was no way you were going to stop him anyways. And he said, that's exactly what I thought. And he said, I couldn't believe it was 5. He said, maybe 2, but 5 in a game. And he thought it was crazy. He said there was no way that he could stop it. Apparently the rule says they can review the major, but if you draw blood, I don't know the exact, the guy who thinks he knows every rule in the book and reads them and quotes them was talking to Tomas at the same time. I thought that was a ridiculous call.
Yeah, so we're talking about the call against Minnesota where Hertl got the major for boarding.
Right.
And
Hartman.
What's that?
Hartman.
Yeah. Who was out in the next shift.
Yeah, with a Band-Aid on his forehead.
My favorite.
Right.
So we were kind of discussing about what this kind of a call this would be. And I personally, I'm just such a stickler of everything, as you know, and I don't really think it was boarding. I mean, it's not like he boarded him. I'm like, if you're going to call anything, really, it probably could have been a check from behind, whatever you're going to call it. But that's what's important is what they call off the rip, because if they're going to go upstairs and review it as a major, they have to be able to support said offense,
Right.
Whatever they decide. Tripping, not that tripping would be a major, but like they have to pick that thing and go, is this a boarding major? And I personally feel like that's why they never called it checking from behind, because it's not a checking from behind major. And they knew they couldn't get away with it. And they called it. I don't know why. Like, Hurdle's not a marked man. He's not a dirty player. He's not one of those guys. He's not a Tom Wilson. I don't understand. I don't know why they targeted Hurdle. That was my opinion, is that they target him for that.
I asked him, I said, ever been thrown out of a game for boarding or anything like that? And he said, I don't think so. And then the same person who's the rules expert and the stats expert said, I think it was once before. I said, Tomas, you're a repeat offender now.
Yeah, bad boy.
I said,
fucking ranting up here.
I said, did you get a call from the league or fine? He goes, didn't hear anything.
Yeah, it was so random. We were all sitting there going, there's no way they can give him a major for this. There's no way. It just wasn't. There was no intent.
And there was no way he could stop once Hartman turned his back to him.
And it wasn't even that hard of a hit. It's not like Hartman was down and had to be stretchered off the ice and we're like, oh shit, wait a minute. Maybe it was dirtier than it looked.
But it was Hartman, so we wouldn't mind that much anyway.
There was nothing that would indicate that should have been more than a 2-minute penalty. We're not talking about the IIHF where the reffing can be sketch because everybody's from a different country. It made zero sense to me. I couldn't figure it out.
One of the interpretations that I heard was that it didn't matter how hard the hit was. It mattered how hard the impact into the boards was. And I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Which is technically boarding, right? But that's where I'm like, how?
So if he hits him and he hits the board at 8 miles an hour, it's a minor. If he hits it at 12 miles an hour, it's a major. If he hits it at 14.5 miles, who's got the fucking radar gun to measure the impact?
And it wasn't even, if you're using your eyeballs, which most officials have to do.
Which is the only thing they can do, especially at full NHL speed.
Yeah, it wasn't even that. I was perplexed by that whole thing. And we were having the conversation because obviously VGK was down 5 minutes. We're like, oh, fuck. Eddie's like, you know what? If they can kill this off, maybe they'll turn it around.
Yeah. So much for that prognostication.
Yeah, that did not happen.
Did you see the Barzell thing?
Yep.
Now, I have a lot of opinions on that. First of all, that was savagery by Barzell. And the fact that he got a minor penalty and he was fined this morning $5,000, they need to figure out some sort of rules and enforcement for what this stuff is. Now, listen, Marchman is chicken shit, right? He's known as a cheap shot guy. He took a couple runs at Schaefer. The Islanders are going to protect their golden goose, right? I mean, even after the game, Patrick Waugh simply, they asked him, and they were looking for some real radio gold, and Patrick Waugh said, I liked our response, and dead stop. Marchman was asked to clear the receipt right away and declined the fight. So obviously, he's fighting the next time. Or he's going to get, turtled and beat down. You can't have pull a driver out of your bag and stick swing, right? Remember Wilf Paymont?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you and I are the only two people that are going to remember Wilf Paymont. His was a headshot, different. But what, for example, if he broke his foot and he's out, a foot injury in hockey, 6 to 8 weeks, all day, all night, and twice on Sundays, $5,000 fine for not even in the heat of the moment. I'm going to go fuck him up, and then proceeded to do exactly that. Where's fucking Boulderhead Peros? $5,000? You got to give that guy at least a game for that. Policing the game is one thing, but felony stick swinging I mean, am I being a softie about this, or where are you with this?
I think that I'm in complete agreement with Patrick Waugh. You have to even up the score. You have to do all the things. However, going out and two-handing somebody is not the right way to do it. Yes, there needed to be a response to end it.
But it ain't ended.
Right. But now it's not ended. If he would have gone out there and go grab the guy and sucker him, you know what I mean? Like, square off, fight him. If he doesn't want to drop the gloves, let him turtle like Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk is still labeled as a turtle in Edmonton because he turtled. He's a humongous pussy, and he turtled. And if that's the way that Marchment wants to be, then fine, that's his problem. But it didn't solve anything. Like, I know that Barzal was hoping it was the end of it and that he would fight and then everybody would be a clean slate and we could all move on. Because all these little bitches out there that try to take fighting out of hockey and they try to take this out, it's never solved anything. It's only made the game worse. Because what happens is Barzal knew Marchment wasn't going to fight him. So he's like, well, now I'm going to have to do something. Whacked him. That was where Barzal went in that moment. I don't think Barzal's dirty. I don't think anything like that. But you look at all the things that have happened over the last few years, like players getting injured and then the other team not responding, and it just carries on for years and years and years. The score has to be settled in hockey, period. It's never, ever, ever going to change. So figure out a way. And if the league doesn't want to, I feel like if they would have given him like a 1-game suspension and a fine, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. We'd all be like, wow, that's probably fair.
But the receipt still stands.
Right. But Barzal would have taken the suspension and said, fucking rights. I earned that. Give me 3 games. I deserved it.
Early New Year's break.
Yeah, fine, whatever. But now it's still going to be a shit show. Now that the score has not been settled. It will eventually get there. But
well, the next time they see each other.
But you know exactly what's going to happen. Ding Dong that runs the lead's going to call up to the referees. Watch these guys. Don't let them do this. Give them penalties so that they're not on the ice together. Fuck off. Like, that's the problem with the fucking league right now.
All right, let's do the commercial a little bit early so we can blast through things, because Mateus said this is his last session of the year and he wants to get the fuck out of here.
I know. He's kicking us out early.
I know. So let's get a word in from Dr. John Pierce at Ageless Forever, and then we'll get to the Golden Knights segment of this. And I've got a great fan comment for you to lose your mind over.
Oh, God. Fucking here we go.
All right, we'll be right back. Dr. John Pierce and I are going to talk about, I have no idea what, but we'll be right back. I'm here with Dr. John Pierce, and if you watch the podcast, you've seen information about all different kinds of treatments and procedures and things like that are done here at Ageless Forever. I'm going to tell you the real story of me. And you guys see commercials on television for Ozempic and Wegovy and all these other things, and they tell you can lose this much weight or that much weight and how much money it is and all that other happy horse shit. This is going to be about me and my relationship with my friend of over 30 years. 2 years ago and change, on January 1st of 23, I weighed 340 pounds, and I didn't feel like there was much time left. I felt just horrible, and it's completely my fault. I disrespected everything about my being, but I decided that it was time to call my friend and talk about it and see, not if, I mean, yeah, if it could actually work, if I could get better, if I could continue to live and maybe live a good life. So I was basically 59 when I started at 340 pounds. I'm now 2 years and change into it. I'm walking around 235 pounds. I have never in my adult life felt better than I feel right now. And I owe this 1,000%. There's no other factor involved in my wellness than the care of my good friend, Dr. Pierce.
What can I say besides thank you? I mean, those are powerful words.
I mean, tell them, I mean, be honest. Yeah. Tell them how bad it was when we started.
You know, Was it bad? Yeah. You know, and we had low testosterone. We had a lot of extra weight.
Cholesterol through the moon.
High cholesterol, blood pressure, immobility. You know, Eddie didn't, you know, share with you his, you know, back issues and need for surgical intervention there. But you know, we attacked this, and I'll tell you, as we did, Eddie was a little hesitant into diving in head first. He put his toes in and tested the water, and then kept testing it, and we did a little bit more and a little bit more, but he stayed the course, and that's the key. Is we just got a little bit better every day, and we used a GLP-1 medication with him. My goal is to use a lower than what's normally prescribed dose and try to titrate to effect. And the other way I'm doing it now that we hadn't done with Eddie at the time is I'm actually dosing it in microdoses throughout the week. So three injections a week at a much lower dose to keep a steadier state of the medication, so we don't get the nausea and the vomiting and the, you know, other GI upset issues. So we really reduce the risk for side effects and maintain appetite control. And then, you know, we had to work with our nutrition folks here to get Eddie to really believe in eating healthier. Because when I first talked to him about, he said, it's working well. I don't drink a whole 6-pack and eat 2 pizzas. I'm down to 2 Cokes and a half a pizza. And I said,
baby steps. It's all about baby steps, folks.
With Eddie, it's all still crap. So you're now absorbing more of it because it's going through the system slower. But now we've got him eating a lot healthier. And there's still work to be done. And that's with all of us. We all try to get better every day. He's following a good supplement regimen, good diet. He's beginning exercise. You know, walking around with 110 pounds less makes life a lot easier. I remember we took a trip to New York, and we were walking to one of the games, and you slipped and fell on your knee.
Yep, on the grate.
On the grate. And I thought, oh man, because that, you know, and you didn't get hurt, but we were on our way down with the weight. I think today it would have been more, we would have been just laughing about it.
Right. But in the beginning, it would have been tragic.
Disastrous. But I never forget it because I was like, oh, geez, you know, that had to hurt. I'm sure it did because you end up going home, called it an early evening. But you know, bottom line is, you know, we have a lot of services to offer with weight loss. We have it. We can use medication. We have nutrition consultants here. We have hormone replacement for both men and women. We do peptide therapy for the right reasons, using great, you know, good sources through U.S. pharmacies. So if there's things that you want to improve about with your health and wellness, please come in. Let's just sit down and talk and find out what it is you're looking to do. And I'll give you an honest answer of whether or not we can help your, you know, but in most cases, I believe we can.
I mean, it's simple. You know, this one's a little different than all the others. This is my truth and this is my story. And I'm going to spare you because I'm a kind, gentle soul sharing the before and after pictures because you don't need to see that, especially if you just had a nice meal. But you owe it to yourself, and I'm proof that it works. So if you want to feel better about yourself, it doesn't cost you anything to have a conversation. I mean, is there anything better than free and knowledge when you put those two things together? Pick up the phone. When you get one of the girls on the phone, say, you heard about Ageless Forever on the Hockey Nights in Vegas podcast. They'll set you up with a consultation. You'll just sit and talk and you'll share, and Dr. Pierce will tell you what he thinks he can do. And again, the end of all these is the same. You owe it to yourself to be the best you. And this is the way that I chose to do it. And I might not be around to do this podcast if I didn't, take advantage of the opportunity and believe in it and commit to it slowly at first. but now it's a lifestyle thing for me. I'm carrying the weight. I still could use a little bit less, but I'm not gaining the weight back. All that stuff that you hear about, oh, when you get off of it, you immediately blow back up. That's happy horse shit. If you take care of yourself, you'll maintain it. So do something good for yourself. Do something good for your significant other, for your kids. All it takes is a phone call and a sit down. So that's what I highly recommend. If you have any questions, you want to talk to me about it, shoot me a message. Everybody knows how to find me. So if you're ready to take the first step, pick up the phone, call 702-838-1994. Any of the girls can take care of you. Your first appointment is on the podcast. Just mention to them that you're a fan of the Hockey Nights in Vegas podcast. Do something good for yourself. Pick up that phone, make the call. You'll thank me later. I know that. And we're back. I don't know. Have I ever told you that I sometimes doom scroll through the idiocy of the fan base?
Yeah, I've actually started to kind of do it too, and some of the stuff
pretty
I'm
fucking,
like,
it's pretty fucking
holy
hysterical, right?
Fuck, what are we doing here?
So, the dumbest thing that I've read from a fan, and my note says, Sarina, you thought cat fans were shitty. Get a load of these beauties.
Is this the thing that's going to make me lose my mind?
It might.
Okay, this is the one though. All right.
This guy's been on my radar for a long time, probably because his last name rhymes perfectly with what he is. His name is Chad Lush. Yes, it does rhyme with douche. And he's a member of one of those fan boards, and he's a contrarian thinker who thinks he knows everything about hockey. But I peeled this beauty for you. Hey, Stone, be that leader in voice. Oh, wait. They let the bigger spark and consistent player, Chandler Stevenson, leave and keep the injury-prone players. Do you understand what you get the gist of it?
Yeah.
This guy thinks that Mark Stone isn't a leader and that they should have got rid of the injury-prone guy and kept Chandler Stevenson. The floor is yours.
Oh, honestly, after living in Florida, and because when I lived in California, like the social media stuff wasn't really a big thing. Like I moved from California like 10 years ago. So people weren't really, but after living in Florida for 8 years, this stuff doesn't even surprise me. Like those kind of comments don't even surprise me. And I'm like, I honestly don't even know where to start with that. Like that is so ridiculous that it doesn't even heat me up, because it's just like, I just chalk that kind of stuff up to like, this person doesn't know. And you know what I've noticed about hockey fans that don't know? You can't tell them that they don't know.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, no.
You know, and I was actually having this, let's go here. I met Chapman, your old.
Chris Chapman, ladies and gentlemen, Fox Sports Las Vegas, now covering sumo wrestling in Japan.
Fucking awesome dude. So he's like, we were
nowhere
chatting,
near the co-host you are, for the record.
And even
so he said,
he said that. Yes, he was just so sweet. But anyway, him and I were having this conversation, and I never told you this, but him and I were talking about, because he's obviously been involved in a lot of sports and growing up in the U.S., like football's big and whatever, baseball, hockey, whatever. And I'm like, hockey's the one sport that people feel like it's a badge of honor to be a hockey fan. And they think they know everything, and they will argue that they know everything. And I'm like, I don't go onto the football field or into a football podcast or into a football stadium and argue with somebody from fucking Florida or Alabama about the game of football. I know a bit about football, but just because I watch it doesn't mean I know the fucking game. But there's something about hockey fans that they think that because they watch hockey, they know the game. Read my fucking lips. If you've never skated, you've never played hockey, and you've never coached it, shut up. I even hear people, and I'm not naming any names because you and I can have this conversation after. People saying they should do this, they should do this, they should. I'm sorry, Bruce Cassidy. When did you get into the fucking press box? When did you get up around here? Don't they should do this and they should do that. You've never even played the fucking game, and you're going to sit here and talk about things they should do? And Lucy Douchey here has obviously never been a general manager in the hockey league, in the National Hockey League, or any fucking hockey league. If he thinks that he's going to, outsmart Kelly McCrimmon, arguably one of the best general managers in the league, and then sit here and say something so ridiculous. I don't understand people. It's not you. People think they're cool because they're hockey fans. All these fucking chicks out there are calling it the boy aquarium. I don't know if you've seen that thing.
I actually just saw that. I literally, for the first time, saw that this morning. And I'm still not quite sure what it means.
It's because they go in, they think they're cute, they're social media influencers, they post that they're at the boy aquarium because they all know they like hockey players. Hockey players are pretty down-to-earth, real people. So it's this thing. But I'm like...
Boy aquarium.
Boy aquarium. Here's the thing. I've spent my entire life having to prove that I know the game as a female. And these stupid-ass fucking people come along, men, women, whatever... And I'm like, you go in and you start the boy aquarium and this and that. It's a joke. Don't make hockey a joke. I'm serious about this shit. You know, I come from the highest pedigree of provinces in the entire fucking continent of hockey. Look at all the people from Saskatchewan that are coaches or general managers in the National Hockey League. There's not even 1 million people in Saskatchewan, and Saskatchewan fucking rules the NHL. There's everybody. And we live and die by this shit. And then we have these people that come in, oh, the coolest thing now is to be a hockey fan. Let me go do that. Listen, if you're a new hockey fan, I don't care. I will gladly answer any questions. Be humble about it, though. You want to come to the game? Great.
You better be humble on Sunday. That's all I have to say. So, boy aquarium.
Listen, the what?
So is
aquarium.
Is the spearmint rhino the girl aquarium?
Well, essentially, that's kind of the gist of it.
Okay.
Nobody's peeling their clothes off. But, you know, it's just, I think that society, and this could be just maybe like a branch off of it, but even like talking to some of my friends, one of my girlfriends who lives in California, she's from Iowa originally. She's like, I need to find a Canadian because these guys are fucking losers. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's not obviously not that easy, but there's a lot, the hockey players are real.
Lucy Douchey also.
Oh my God. I shouldn't have called him.
No.
I was just.
Oh, no. I hope.
Okay.
Listen, I got to tell you something. Homeboy posts enough that he's going to be the weekly bullseye.
Well.
And Lucy Douchey is the home run.
These are the people, though, that they'll come at you. They will argue with you. And they don't, like, Eddie and I have had conversations privately about. And we're like, he's like, this is what I deal with on a regular basis.
His other comment was regarding the third period against the Avs.
Okay.
17 shots, 3 goals. Nice job, Golden Knights. Way to get a goalie. Or something to that effect.
Dude, I'm about to pop off.
Soundbite alert.
When I hear people talking shit about Carter Hart or some of the goals he let in, we are not watching the same game.
I think he let in one bad goal against Colorado. The fourth goal, he kind of whiffed at. It was off.
Sure,
it was off. The first 3 were own goals.
They were garbage goals.
Yeah.
And the first thing I turned to Eddie and I'm like, fuck this poor fucking guy, man. He can't catch a break. The next guy comes along and goes, they need to get hard out of the fucking net. He's let in this many shots. He's and I'm like, I can't listen to that. I can't because I'm going to argue with somebody. It's like arguing with a 5-year-old. Not that specific person, but this is what my life was like in Florida. I was arguing with people that don't know the game. And I'm like, okay, yeah, like I can't argue with these people because you're just never going to win that argument. But it's like, back off Carter Hart. He's doing just fine. I guarantee, and I wasn't at Bruce's presser after the Minnesota game, but based on what he said at practice before the Minnesota game, he's like, we need to do X, Y, Z. Our wingers need to be better defensively. We need to stop guys and, because get like a McKinnon on the side. Very, very first goal was who scored for Minnesota last night. He was wide open on the side.
It was
wide open on the wing. Bang in the net.
I mean, Bruce said today after practice, and he started all the way back in Calgary and then Edmonton, 4-4-5, he said, we got to keep the puck out of our fucking net.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he didn't swear. Sorry, Bruce, you didn't say that. But I bet if there was no camera on him, that's exactly what he would have said. So there. they got to be better defensively. Yes, the scoring is up, but they're not defending as well. And they were railing him after last night's game. They left him hung out to dry.
100% they did.
They played imaginary defense, and I don't know.
And before we even continue, I can't stand we're injured, we're hurt, we're this. Hey, I watched Vegas play 2 really good hockey games, missing key guys. Before the Minnesota game, they played really well against Colorado.
I think
they should have won it.
Short of not getting the second point, as far as effort and completion of a game, I thought that might have been one of their best games of the year. Yeah,
yep.
You knew Colorado was coming in the third period, right? And they came. But Vegas defended. Yeah, there was a blown coverage on the 5-5 goal. There was a stick in the wrong direction. The puck got clean into the slot, close enough that you or I could have probably scored that goal. But Colorado's the best team in the world, and there isn't really anybody competing for close second or third. What I liked about that game, and we'll just pivot into that the last couple of games, is they didn't turtle up. They got up 2-0. Colorado punched back. They didn't turn into a wilting flower and go away. Built the lead back up. Colorado pushes. We know Colorado's going to push. They've only got 2 losses in regulation. They're the best team in the league. Clear 20 points of everybody else. Push back. Tie 4-4. Oh, no, the sky's falling. Ah!
I know.
What happened? Golden Knights score 5-4. Right? They punched back when they got punched in the mouth. When the wilting flower theory could have they could have just rolled over and said, that's it, we give up. They gave up a bad 5th goal, right? It was 6-on-5. They defended it. It was a mistake. The game's played at a pretty high pace. If one player's stick is in the wrong direction for a millisecond, that pass goes by him. It happened to go by him to a pretty good scorer in Lehkonen, who finished, right? Overtime is what it is. Shootout is what it is. We've talked about it ad nauseum. I don't want to talk about it anymore. We both hate it. We both think it's disgusting. But as far as the overall effort of that game, I was really impressed how well they played when we all hoped, when we circle that game on the schedule, we're like, oh, yeah, this is the real yardstick game. This is fucking King Kong and Godzilla getting ready to go at it. Well, King Kong didn't have both of his arms and played Godzilla pretty well head up for the better part of 60 minutes. And if you think about 3 own goals, 3 garbage goals, I can say comfortably that the Golden Knights earned all 5 of their goals in that game.
Yes.
All 5 5-on-5 goals, they earned. They went to the dirty part of the ice. They finished plays. Can't say that about Colorado.
Right, and those things happen. I was watching the World Juniors the other night, and someone said it perfectly. You're always going to get, and this is not indicative of what we're talking about this game, but just in general, you're always going to get a bad team beat a good team, no matter what league you're playing in, no matter what level. And I think that's where, Vegas had a really good, they should have won that game. And even against Minnesota was completely, a switch was flipped. And I personally feel like VGK is a better team than Minnesota. Everybody's got their ass in a knot about Quinn Hughes and this and that and blah, blah, blah. I'm not even going there today because I just don't have it in the tank. Did you notice him much last night? That's my point. Everybody's all wound up that he's going to be the next coming of Christ there. Well, they have a pretty decent team up front anyway. But
yeah, they got a bona fide superstar in Kaprizov. And
Boldy plays really well.
Boldy is really good. Eric Sinek is a really good underpaid player, right?
Solid
They've
guys.
Got some places, but you know what they don't have? You know the funny and this Gustafson kid, the Wall of St. Paul, they're calling him now. You know what they don't have? They don't have a coach that's won 3 games in a playoff series.
Well, that was another conversation last night that Chapman and Hannah were talking about whether or not they should have kept Dean Evison. And nobody really knows why they made the coaching change.
But we heard that he was just a monster he made Babcock look like
Yeah,
a player's coach.
Yeah.
We heard he's real prickly.
I don't want to get in. Yeah, I don't want to, because I know a lot of guys coming up through junior and stuff that they talk and whatever. But regardless, a change may happen and whatever. But I do agree. And I mean, I feel like Bill Guerin's done a pretty good job there as a general manager, getting a lot of guys in. But he rolled over on the Kaprizov deal.
I think he did roll over on the Kaprizov deal, but I applaud him for the incredible testicular fortitude. That means giant balls to even sign Quinn Hughes. That they can't extend him for another year.
It's like they're going all in.
I mean, listen, in a time where people tend to play a little bit conservative and they try to stay sort of within the bumpers. I applaud old boy, right? He's like, fuck this. If we're going to win, we need a dominant 1D. Is he the guy that gets him over the hump? I don't think so, because I don't think they're good enough to beat Dallas and beat Colorado. And there's a very good likelihood that if they beat the first one, they're going to have to see the second one just to get out of the Central.
Yeah.
And that goes to a 1-8 conversation. We're not going to go there. So we're going to stay on. They made a trade, but the fact that he was willing to literally, and he told the whole entire league, here we are, this is it. And they don't have many more moves to go. So they're pretty well going to be their hands pat. But I don't think they have enough to beat both of those teams in the same playoff year.
Yeah.
And the fact that I applaud him for trying, but it could also be said that Vancouver is about halfway from Minnesota, as Minnesota is about halfway to New Jersey to play with his brothers in a year and a half.
That hasn't worked out for anybody, for the record, so they can go ahead and...
Worked out for the Hansen brothers.
That's the thing with, like, look at the Sedin twins. Vancouver did everything in their power to get them, keep them. They both retired there. La, 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 la. They didn't win shit. It just, go ahead, knock yourselves the fuck out. Whatever. You don't see the Stahl brothers doing that.
No. Man,
never saw the Sutter brothers doing that, but...
Well, there's 20 of them. It's hard to get them on the same...
You could never get... They take up a whole fucking line and the net.
Last night's game, we started with the hurdle conversation, and I was lucky he was in the room this afternoon so I could talk to him. They got beat by a team that played better than them. There was a whole thing that there was another great controversy when Mark Stone said after the game, he got down 5-0 and you don't really come back from that. And I guess San Jose came back once against Pittsburgh a month ago. And Stone was getting railed for saying that, you don't come back from 5-0 in an NHL game. They are in a pinch down the center, for sure, without Jack and William Karlsson. And then you lose Hurdle 5 minutes in the game. You've in essence got
you have two centers left.
No, you don't have two. Mitch never played center until 3 days ago.
They had
Sissons and Howden, but Howden's a winger who plays center.
But Howden's been really good at center.
Right. But your number one center is your fourth line center.
So
when that happened, that game was essentially over in my mind because the pivot is kind of everything when it comes to driving the offense. And listen, Mitch is adapting. He's a really good hockey player.
It's really good.
Right? But even Bruce said, Darren Millard asked him, there was, how before the practice starts, they just kind of lolly around for a few minutes and Bruce might talk to a couple of players. And Millard having to ask a question because Danny wasn't there and Paul's on his way to Japan, said he noticed him talking to Carter Hart, Jack, and Mitch. And Bruce explained what he was talking to Carter Hart about, which he said, listen, he didn't have a chance to talk to him after the game because if you don't know, Bruce doesn't go in the room after the game. He very rarely talks to players. They're all juiced up. He lets them decompress on their own sort of terms. He talked to Carter Hart about pulling him. Jack, how are you feeling? Are you ready? How are you going to go? Right? The update is Jack's don't know if we're going to play tomorrow. Still considered day-to-day. He was in the full practice, not a red contact jersey.
Okay.
Mitch talked about him staying more in the center of the ice. That isn't a criticism of Mitch. Mitch has been a winger for he's 28, so he's probably been playing hockey 24 years, 23 years. He's been a winger. He's used to playing on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
The pivot doesn't play on the walls. The pivot absorbs the entire center of the ice from goal to goal. So he talked more about staying toward the center of the ice. That game, it doesn't mean shit to me, right? Was it embarrassing? No. Did they get beat by a team that was playing more possessed? Yes. Were they out of sorts? Yes. The takeaway was they had a better third period. They got Akira Schmid into the lineup, got some reps. He's going tomorrow. Bruce already said that's his game. The Golden Knights have this habit of playing really well after they have a subpar effort. I feel like there's a beatdown coming. And that's, so talk a little bit about Minnesota, but then we're going to pivot to the next upcoming games.
I think Minnesota played a very clean game.
Yeah.
They came out, everything that they knew to do, they did.
And they executed it.
Yeah, exactly. It was just basic hockey. And that's, I think, what Vegas, I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I think the VGK would like to have more games like that. They know they have the ability to do it and the talent, but it's like there's always something. Then Hertl was gone a minute into the friggin' game. Like it was just every game. And I don't talking about what I just said about the players, and don't make excuses because guys are hurt. But when you're already down a centerman and then you lose one to a bullshit call like that, then you're going, okay, I got 4 lines and 2 centermen. Now what are we going to do? You can't just put, like you were saying, you can't just put a winger at center. Like we were talking, like Paul was like, could Braden Bowman play center? Eddie's like, I don't know, ask Sarina.
Well, I mean, we only have one authority on Braden Bowman on the podcast, and it ain't me.
But it was like, I mean, I guess if he had to, everybody could if they had to.
Coach Ward spent a solid 10 or 15 minutes with almost everybody. You know, the face-off drill where he holds like 5 pucks in his hands, and they just one after another. Keegan Cole, they had the gang's all here for a face-off drill today. Yeah. It's like, all right, because listen, you lose the face-off, you start without the puck. That's a significant disadvantage. And, Mitchie was actually pretty good in the dot, but he struggled. He's supposed to struggle against NHL centers when you've never played center.
There's centers that struggle all the time.
Jack is only about 50% in the dot.
There's even a kid that plays for Canada at the World Juniors. He's one of the best centermen, and he's like 15% on the faceoffs. Like it was just like it just happens, But as far as what's going to happen on the New Year's Eve game, well, last time we had an afternoon game, everybody was sleepy. So hopefully,
I don't think sleepy's going to be an issue tomorrow.
I hope not.
Because they had a pretty spirited practice today. And Bruce was, he was a little, how sometimes you look at somebody and he may not talk like he's boiling a little. I felt like he was a little warm under his.
Bruce?
Yeah.
You can usually tell.
I feel like he was a little bit warm under his sweats.
Yeah.
So they just finished basically with the top end of the Central. The next 4 games are what you would probably call the mid-bottom. Nashville comes to town tomorrow for matinee. Thank God we'll all be home by 4 o'clock. So all you people can go party if you want. No, thanks. Then they go to St. Louis, Chicago, and we'll obviously talk about the watch party, and the Winnipeg Jets. These are all real winnable games, right? If the VGK puts forward the effort that they put forward against Colorado, they're going to win all those 4 games. And we're going to have really nothing to talk about other than how well they're playing. What do you think about the upcoming, 1 and then 3 on the road?
If they do play the way they did against Colorado, they will win all of those games. Now, that's not always the way it works, right? We know that going into any one of those rinks, something can happen. St. Louis, you never know what you're going to get. Chicago, I think they're like 1-6 or 1-7 since they lost Bedard.
Yeah, they're definitely they're sliding toward the bottom. I think Frank Nazar came back.
Yeah,
after that puck in the mush. I think but they're not the same without Bedard for sure.
By the way, Chicago Chris, the Zamboni guy, is going to be at that game. He's going back to Chicago on Thursday to see his family.
Did you book a plane ticket and not telling me?
No, I'm not going to Chicago. It's too damn cold. I'm going to Calgary in January. That's enough.
Okay.
And then going into Winnipeg, that's another 50-50. You never know what you're going to get in Winnipeg. If you get a hot Hellebuck, and Winnipeg has some talented guys, they're not playing their best.
They're not playing well at all.
No, but they have the ability to do that. So realistically, they could walk out of that. Let's talk about road trip. Possible 6 points. I'm going to go 3.
Oh, no way. No way. I'm going 5.
Yeah.
This team, they're gonna get right tomorrow. They're gonna have a pop for New Year's. They got an early flight on New Year's Day to get to St. Louis, and they're gonna. It's time for them to start Hulk smashing some clubs, and these are probably the right clubs to start Hulk smashing.
Well, it's a good start, but yeah, you just again those teams are so. It's not a given. You know, last year I was in Chicago against. And VGK was in Chicago playing when I was there. And Chicago absolutely manhandled them. And we were like, where did this come from? What just happened? So, and everybody was shocked. I think even the Chicago fans.
I don't want to talk about hockey anymore.
Okay.
I want Sarina's New Year's resolutions. This is the last episode. It's Tuesday, December 30th. This will probably come out later tonight or maybe New Year's Eve after the game if you have nothing to do. But what do you got for, I mean, it can't be fitness. You're a fucking fitness goddess. So what kind of New Year's resolutions do you have?
I don't know. I don't ever make resolutions. I guess
this segment is just going to fucking die.
Yeah.
Right?
So actually somebody asked me that the other day. They're like, what are your New Year's resolution? And I was like, honestly, like, I know this kind of sounds cliche, but grow more on, like, work more on myself. Figure out like more of who I am and what makes me tick in order to, you know, just be a better version of myself. I know that sounds totally fucking, thank you. You might think so.
I do.
My dad probably thinks so.
Yeah, but it might just be the two of us.
Yeah. Probably. Maybe. Yeah, probably.
Well, by the time we do the next episode, probably Chris from Chicago will be number 3.
Probably right now, Bonesy thinks I'm perfect because,
you know, you're telling him you're not going to have his baby.
Yeah,
that's going to be the end of that.
Right. Yeah, just it's just one of those things that I'm gonna, because that's what I have been doing since I moved here in July, is just focusing more on, you know, I didn't move here to like run away from something. It's not that. It's just I needed a change, and I realized that I internally needed a change, and so that's where that comes from.
My resolution is I'm going to get Chris the Zamboni driver for you.
That's your resolution?
That's it. I'm a simple man.
Okay, now he's Chris the Zamboni driver.
Chris from Chicago, the It's too many words. What do you want to call him? Well, Zamboni driver or Chris from Chicago? Which one do we want to address him as?
He calls himself,
I don't care what he fucking calls
Chicago
himself.
Chris.
What do you want us to call him?
Oh my God.
Since he's going to be on almost every episode.
I like the Zamboni driver because it just is a thing now.
Okay, so he's the Zamboni driver.
Zamboni driver.
But no, I'm the same. This was a bouncy year, health-wise, losing my dad. I'm still sort of really spun from that. But, you know, simply, I'm just so happy with this. I was in such a flux when Chapman told me he was moving to Japan. I thought that you know, it had run its course. And people who close to me who said to me, you can do this by yourself. And I'm just not that much of a narcissist to
it's
think
just too hard,
that would want to listen to me turn on a mic and be a Stephen A. Smith and talk for 30 or 40 minutes. I don't feel that positively about myself that I would pull that off. And just the incredible turn of events that happened. And we filled in Chris that he got replaced at his own funeral.
I know.
Which
he's
that's I'll tell that. It's actually kind of a fantastic story. I was going to take out Chris for his goodbye. He was moving to Japan, and I invited Garrett and India, who, if the people don't know, are the people who take care of us in the media, get us our credentials and interviews and stuff like that. And they asked me at lunch what I was going to do with the podcast. And this was Chapman's funeral lunch. He was gone. And I said, I really don't, I have no idea. I said, I don't have any interest in doing it. I said, it would have been so good if we could have had a Vegas versus Florida team cup final, because Sarina and I talked about going on each other's pods and previewing the opposition and everything like that. And I really hit it off with her, and it would be fucking great to do a podcast with her. And India chimed in and said, dude, she's moving to Vegas. I'm like, fuck you. Yeah, right. That, you think that's a funny, cruel joke. And she said, no, like, I'm texting with her right now. She's moving to Vegas. I said, okay, if you're texting with her right now, text her the following. Eddie would like you to join him as co-host of the podcast. She said, okay, I'll send it. Sarina responded, fuck yeah. In a very Sarina-like way.
Yeah.
Right? And here we are. Like a half a season in, it wasn't like a brand new baseball mitt. We didn't have to break in anything. We just showed up at a place, turned on a microphone, absolutely no prep, no idea what we were going to talk about, just two hockey minds talking about stuff. And I love Chapman, right? I hate his politics. I love the man, right? The podcast has never been better, and it's because of you.
Thank you.
And I want, Mateus helped us with the shorts thing and the social media stuff and this TikTok fucking whatever the fuck it is, bite, dick, talk, dick, shtick. But I told you in the beginning, the podcast was a gaffe for me to get to go to hockey games. And I've been so blessed. I went to the Winter Classic. The NHL credentialed me to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. I got to watch my second hometown team hoist the cup in our building. I got to go on the ice and talk to the players at the pinnacle of their careers. Now I want that for this podcast. We're doing this incredible watch party on Sunday. Will be the first of many. I just want this to I want this to be big. That's my goal, my resolution. It's not like I'm going to start going to the gym, because we know that's not going to happen. But that's what I want. And I really, I owe it to you, because if we wouldn't have met and I tried to bribe you with oatmeal raisin cookies that first night.
Yeah. It was the second night.
It was the second night, because you saw him the first night. And I hooked you up for the second night. But if it wouldn't have been for all of those incredible turns of friendly cards, I would have certainly lost my credentials by now and just been back to being some fucking couch potato who thinks he knows a little bit about the game. So that's my resolution, is really to take this to the level where it really needs to go.
Agreed. What's hysterical, just so we don't end on this lame-ass soft note, this luncheon, Chapman was late for it.
Yeah, he was 30 minutes late to his own funeral.
Yeah, so he was like, we were having this conversation.
Killed him while he got there.
Wait a minute. This all happened at the Mexican place? I'm like, I don't know where you guys were, but apparently he didn't even know that this whole thing went down until the other night, which is so funny.
Well, I didn't want to tell him that he got dead.
He's hilarious.
I thought that was a bad idea. Plug the watch party, and then we'll get out of here.
Watch party Sunday, January.
This Sunday.
Yeah, but what is the date? The 4th? The 4th. Okay.
Yeah.
Sunday, January 4th, the watch party at the Space. So VGK is playing in Chicago. Doors open at 3. Game starts at 4. You have to go on to the Ladies of the Knight group, not the Ladies of the Night, Ladies of the Night group. You have to be a member in order to go, or have a significant other that's a member. Men are welcome. We are going to be doing some giveaways. Raffles. It's going to be fun. And there's going to be some food trucks. There's a whole bunch of stuff. A bar. Yeah, sorry. I forgot. The most important thing.
Get a raffle ticket for every drink you buy.
Okay,
We're gonna do some trivia.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff lined up for you guys. So it'll be good. Make sure you guys come.
Yeah. On the Facebook thing, it's Ladies of the Nights with a K group. You have to add the word group, otherwise you're going to be on prostitution sites.
Which is fine.
Which is okay if that's your
thing.
jam.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're not here to judge.
no.
We have about almost 15,000 people in the Ladies of the Night group. I don't even want to know what the other Ladies of the Night groups have, but
A lot.
Eddie, jeez.
HockeyNightsVegas.com is the link tree. If you don't want to watch these shenanigans, you just want to listen to them with all the pauses and interruptions and everything. We're on Spotify, iHeart, Apple, every place you can listen to a podcast. That's where we are. Hit that subscribe button. We are 3 subscribers away from 400.
Fuck yeah.
What do we get for 400? Nothing.
Nothing, just 4.
But hey, 400's on a step to 1,000 where we might actually make a couple of pennies. So if you like what you're doing, write comments, because we need to talk more about what you have to say about us, because that's always a fun segment.
Scared as fuck, I think. Don't blame
No,
them.
but it's great though. So hit that subscribe button. Thanks to everybody for all the loyalty and listening 125 episodes in. I wish you and yours, your family, your significant other, the girl that you met in the Ladies of the Night group,
The Zamboni driver.
the Zamboni driver, the sushi waiter, the skateboarder, and Braden Bowman.
Of course.
A happy, safe, prosperous 2026. And we really have to stop talking because the bus, we're done.
Yeah.
Thank you. See you next week.